welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in Paw Your Way into Hearts, where we scrapbook our pets. And this hop was started by Rebecca Lockhart and Miranda Weber. For my layout, I'm using a piece of paper from 49 Market from their summer Porch collection, and this one is called Splendor. I'm adding my title with these red Creative Memory stickers. These are old, so I don't know that they make them anymore, but we have 3 sets of these, and I'm still out of some of the letters, so I'm trying to flip through and use the stickers from the most used sheets and then go to the least used sheets, but there are still some letters I'm missing, so I was going to put the title as suggested by Cheryl Cameron Smith on the Scrapbook Addict. She said to do Transporting Precious Cargo because it's pictures of me picking up our previous dog when we got her. One of my tricks to keep things straight is to use this quilting ruler, and I thought that dark line was the top of the ruler, but it wasn't. There's actually lines on this paper, so as I'm almost done putting the stickers on, I realized that and got rid of the ruler. So I just put the letters down kind of gently and not push them all the way down because usually I don't get it exactly centered how I want, so then I have to move them. I cropped my photos and mounted them on black cardstock and put them together with double-sided tape to form a photo cluster. If you haven't used 49 Market, their paper is really thick, so it's thicker than like Simple Stories or Echo Park. And when you get the packages of things like this, like the laser cuts, this is the Rouge laser cut elements. That insert that has a picture of all the things that's in the package, they always print on the back side of it, so you can use that. You just fussily cut out the elements and use it. So I'm cutting out this little picture. I'm just using the non-picture part of it so that I can use that as a journaling card. And I'm cutting out kind of where it looks like it's ripped, and so then I kind of went around all the sides and tried to do it a little jagged so it looked like torn paper. This paper is really thick, so I didn't want to try to tear it. I used my blending tool to go around the edges of the paper with some black soot ink, and this is a good way to get started in mixed media if you're wanting to do it but are afraid of mixed media. I didn't do it until a couple years ago, and really mixed media is just using more than one kind of media. So if you think mixed media is just like using all kinds of wet things like paint, it doesn't have to be. It can be just different types of media and whichever ones that you like. And what I like about the Distress ink or any other water-based ink is there's so many different techniques you can do with it. So it's a good economic way to get started in it. I just use a black pen to do my journaling. I'm telling about how we took my new 2005 Camry to go pick up the dog, and we actually met the breeder at a Walmart because she drove part of the way to meet us so we wouldn't have to go the whole way. So this was the first road trip as well as my first dog. We'd had dogs in the family before, but the first one was my dad's dog and the second one was my sister's dog. So this one was officially my dog as well as my sister, and actually my sister's the only one in the photos because I was taking the pictures. I already picked out some things I wanted to use from the Summer Porch Acetate Assortment, and I just keep rearranging those to figure out where I want all the bigger pieces to be. And I also decided to use the green film strip instead of the red one. And what I like about the acetate is that you can see through it, so you get a little bit different texture on your page by using it. I've only used these acetate pieces a few times, and I couldn't remember if I used double-sided tape, which mine is supposed to be clear, or if I used glue. So I did try the tape at first, but then it looked like you were going to be able to see through that, and I knew the glue does dry clear, so I ended up using that, and it did dry, and you couldn't really see the glue underneath it. And I'm using Nuvo Deluxe glue. I used double-sided tape to adhere my photo cluster to the page. I chose the Summer Porch collection because I thought the colors went really well with my photos, and I have pictures of the dog who is black with her red collar, and the funny part was this was the color we bought ahead of time, and even with it on the smallest thing, it was way too big for the puppy, so she could really walk right out of it. So the first thing we did when we got home was go to the pet store, bought her some toys, and got her a new collar. The summer porch collection is really a seaside collection, so there's a lot of nautical elements, so I'm staying away from those and just using the ones that look kind of like a park because we did stop at a rest area to eat lunch. I also picked out this red butterfly from the Acetate collection to use with the layout. I have this stamp set called Forever Friends from Elizabeth Craft Designs, so I'm stamping the sentiment that says, "You're so cute," with some VersaFine Clair black ink, and I like this ink because it's really intense. I noticed that there was this strip that looked like washi tape on the packaging that I cut out earlier, so I decided to cut that out and put it under the sentiment that I stamped, and I thought that would help it stand out better. Then I went around that with my black soot ink and glued it onto the layout with my Nuvo Deluxe glue. I start looking through my summer porch by land laser cut elements to see which ones I might use, and then I just pull them out to add to my layout. One thing I like about the 49 in Market is you can see they have a variety of sizes from large elements to very small, so that helps you build some clusters with different sizes. Then I look through my Rouge laser cut elements to see what elements are there that I want to use, and I'm trying to use ones that just have black or red and not the pink ones. I started trying out different elements in different places to see where I like them. I really liked the geranium pot, but it didn't really look right on the top, and I think that's because it looks like it's a pot floating up in the air. So I decided to put the butterflies up there, and eventually I put the geranium down on the bottom. The postage stamp that I picked had the word love, so I thought that was perfect. And then I tried a spray of flowers that was from the Rouge collection up in the right-hand corner, but those type of flowers looked a little too formal, I thought, for this layout, as well as they had pink in them. So I opted out for some single type stem flowers to use as a bouquet instead. Now that I've got several of my larger elements down, I'm looking for smaller ones to add to the clusters. And once I get satisfied with that, then I start gluing everything down with my Nuvo Deluxe glue. I'll put a list of all the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and that helps support my channel. One thing that I like about 49 in Market is that if you like the look of mixed media, the papers already have a mixed media look, so you don't have to really create that with lots of inks. And also some of the elements do, like the acetate that I have over on the top right hand side. It looks kind of like a film, but also paint splotch, so I didn't really have to create that. I'm using this little tag to attach to the top of the photos, and I'm putting the date, although I don't know the exact date this happened because this was back when I had a film camera, not digital, so it didn't record the date. I do know it was spring 2005, so I put that. I didn't remember if it was May or June, and I definitely didn't remember the exact date. I found this little word strip in with the Rouge collection, and it says, "Love you to pieces." Of course, I did love Jackie to pieces, so I thought that would be perfect. And I just put that underneath one of the photos. I know 49 in Market can be a little bit pricey compared to some other manufacturers. However, what I like about them is, besides their quality, is just how well everything goes well together. It's really easy to get a very detailed, cohesive look with their products. And that's one thing that can help save money also, is because they keep some of their lines longer than some of the other companies, and a lot of their lines you can mix and match, so you can get different ones and mix them with what you have, just as long as you're getting ones that have the same kind of colors to them. And also, you could just get some of these embellishment packs and not do the paper and use more of a plain paper in the background, or maybe make your own mixed media background. I'm using my VersaFine Clair ink as well as a stamp from the Forever Friends stamp set to stamp some little paw prints on the bottom around some of the clusters. And I wanted to do that so I can add a little bit more canine theme to the scrapbook page, and the black goes really well with this layout. Most of my stamp sets I got to make cards, but since I already had those, I figured those are a way to incorporate mixed media with my scrapbook pages without having to buy new things. Plus, that way we get more use out of our products. So if you want to use different products on your scrapbook pages, I would look around and see what you already have and trying to use that, especially using things that you enjoy using. Now, sometimes I didn't quite get a complete footprint, and I think that's okay also. I did try to restamp some of them because it is a clear stamp, but it's hard to do that because of the little circles being together and I couldn't quite get it lined up. But I think it's okay because it is mixed media, so things aren't usually complete. And also with paw prints, I don't know about your dog if you have one, but they don't always leave a complete footprint. Then I'm adding some heart-shaped gems that are from Buttons, Galore, and more, and these are called Love Heart Sparkletz. And some of these were clear, red, and pink, and I didn't like how I put some of these on because one of them looked more pink, so I took it off. It did rip the paper a little bit, but then when I put the other heart on top of it, you couldn't tell. So I also moved some of them because I didn't like that I'd have like two reds together and one clear on the opposite side. I kind of like them being alternating colors, so I did remove a couple and rearrange them. Now, in the past, I've always used glossy accents, which is it dries glossy to make it look like plastic or glass, and I use that because it is very strong. But with these, the Nuvo Deluxe glue worked just fine. For my final embellishment, I'm adding pops of color, and if you're not really familiar with those, they're from Scrapbook.com, and it's their brand of enamel drops, so just like Nuvo drops. And so since it's a store brand, it's a lot less expensive, and they kind of take the place of enamel dots, which can be quite pricey. So these are a less expensive way to do it, and you can get them in different colors. Now this particular one is called Cherry Pie, and it's the pearl. I really like the pearl ones. And at first I wasn't really sure about all these enamel things. You can draw with them and do other things with them also, but I never could use them as enamel drops because I couldn't get them to go flat. But the trick really is just to only put a few on, then flick from behind with your fingernail, and then they do go flat. So now that I know the trick, I'm getting other colors of these. As I mentioned before, this is part of a YouTube hub, so I'll have the playlist in the description below, as well as at the end of this video. Just click on that, and the newer videos may be at the top, but sometimes they're on the bottom also. So just look through the ones you haven't seen yet so you can see the other videos of other creators. There are so many people that are so talented on this hub that you'll get lots of inspiration, and you'll get ideas of how to scrapbook your pets, or even if you don't have pets, you'll get ideas of different ways that you can do scrapbooking. And I know several of the people on this hub do mixed media, so you might get more tips on how to do that. I know by watching all the different creators, I have gotten inspired and tried new things, as well as come familiar with different products that I hadn't used before. So I hope you can find some inspiration. If you like the video, please give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.